Namaste. Periyava Saranam. The Acharya, a divine incarnation. Adi Shankara Bhagavatpada, whom we adore as the Acharya, the perceptor appearing in the middle of the Advaita Acharya Parampara or lineage, beginning with Sadasiva, that is Sri Dakshinamurti, was an incarnation of Lord Parameshwara. He was Dakshinamurti descended to earth. Dakshinamurti, the god who remains in profound silence and in deep quiescence, with all his power of jnana drawn inward. If Dakshinamurti is the ultimate in quietude, his incarnation Sankara was ever active, engaged in writing commentaries, composing hymns, holding disputations with the learned, and so on. If the one remained rooted to his place under the peepal tree without any action, the other was always on the move, journeying on foot, covering almost the entire Bharata from Rameshwaram to Kailasa. The quiescent Brahman is Shiva, while the Brahman that has functions to perform, that is, the Brahman that is active, is Shakti. It is through the jnana manifested as energy that the phenomenal world functions. If the Acharya accomplished so much in his brief life, it means that Ambal, who had been latent in him as the energy of jnana in his original form of Dakshinamurti, now found open expression through him. It follows that he was an incarnation of Ishvara and Ambal combined. We speak of mother, father, and perceptor together, Mata, Pita, Guru. Well, the world mother and the world father fused into one and became incarnate as the world teacher, that is, as Jagadguru Shankaracharya. Dakshinamurti, who is quiescent, inheres in himself Ambal, the active principle. Similarly, though the Acharya was unceasingly involved in a variety of work, he was within himself all stillness and serenity. What exists absolutely by itself, as itself, without any function to perform, is the Brahman. Indeed, this state of the Brahman is also the true nature of the individual self. It was Shankara who established this monistic truth on an unshakable foundation. He himself ever remained in this state, experiencing the Brahman in himself. Since he was born a mortal, he did much in the manner of a mortal, all the while remaining in his true state of the Brahman. In a dramatic performance, a person has to enact the role assigned to him or her and never reveal his self or her true self. A milliner acting as Kuchela, Sudama, has to appear in rags. However, movingly he fills his role. He knows that in reality he is not a poor man. Divine incarnations are to be understood in the same way. They are actors in this cosmic drama of ours. Inwardly, they are never forgetful of their real selves, but outwardly, they act as if they have forgotten them, conducting themselves as they do like humans. It is for this reason that we describe divine incarnations like Krishna Paramatma as Maya Manushas, Leela Manusha Vigrahas, and Kapata Nataka Veshas. Rama was an avatar of Mahavishnu, but when Ravana abducted Sita, he gave way to grief like an ordinary mortal. He wept inconsolably when Lakshmana fainted on the battlefield in Lanka. Why should divine incarnations act in this manner? The very purpose of their descent to earth is to set an example to mankind through their life and to show it the right path. Human beings have to advance step by step to reach the goal of fulfillment, and they have to do so mindful of their limitations and without going violently against nature. It is to show them that these men trapped in their natural urges and encourage them in their efforts to instill in them confidence that the divine incarnations live and act like mortals. In this manner, the Acharya also adopted the disguise of a mortal. He descended to earth to make mankind aware of the state of jnana, in which the entire universe will become naught, and in which the mind will vanish without any trace of its existence. He took birth on this earth only to impart to humanity knowledge of the Advaitic Brahman, the one without a second. In order to be in accord with human nature, he accepted the world and the mind as if they were real, but at the same time cut out the path for people to be taken step by step to the state in which these would cease to be. There is a power that conducts everything. Since there exists nothing other than the Brahman, it follows the great power that carries out all functions inheres in it. If those who cannot meditate upon the Nirguna Brahman turn their minds with devotion to this great power, they will eventually be able to obtain the jnana of the true functionless and quiescent Brahman. Since the Brahman that conducts the affairs of the world itself blesses them with this jnana, our Acharya showed people the path of bhakti or devotion as a prelude to the path of jnana. That is how he established the systems of worship of deities, collectively known as Shanmata, and composed a number of devotional hymns. He also went on pilgrimage to sacred places in every nook and corner of the land, installed yantras in some temples, and laid down the rules to be followed in a number of shrines for the conduct of puja and other rituals. Periyava Saranam.